Welcome to Code 2013, and one of the best, it's the best sports program in the whole of New Zealand, especially on the Māori TV. I'm here with the lovely Jenny May.
Oh, kia ora, brother.
Kia ora, kia ora. And on my left here I've got Wairangi Kupu.
Kia ora.
Today we have a very special guest, all the way from Aotearoa. And she's been on top of the world, bottom of the world, the middle of the world. She's the one and only Valerie Adams. Welcome. Kia ora, Valerie.
Kia ora.
Just before we kick off, maybe just introduce yourself to the group and also to our audience. Just a bit about yourself and where you're from.
Okay. Malo lelei. My name's Valerie Adams. From Otara in South Auckland. Went to Hillary College in Otara. I'm 29 years old. And I'm female, if you haven't noticed. Yeah, so that's about a little bit about me, and I'm currently full-time world champion. I'm the only other sports person in New Zealand to achieve that is Peter Snell. So I'm quite proud of that. Quietly, I'll stay humble and stay humble.
Otara. Tell me about Otara.
I owe a lot to my South Auckland upbringing. Especially being out there, sometimes people have a lot of negative views on growing up in South Auckland, but it's not as bad as people think it is, and I grew up through it and I've succeeded coming where I'm from, so I'm proud to be from South Auckland. To be honest, it was an awesome feeling just to know that I had worked so hard, not only myself but my coach, my family who supported me along the way. Felt really proud to achieve my first gold medal because of the help I got to get there. And even though it's an individual sport, when I get there out into the circle, I know that I've had a lot of support from my loved ones and those coaches to get me there.
Oh, I feel you, sis, because when I used to play for the All Blacks, that's how I got these ones, But I think those players, I think our brother here, Wairangi, needed to have some of those players to stay in the Warriors a bit longer, eh?
Yeah, I think he had too many pies this way.
Too many pies.
Too many pies.
This way he's on the bench a lot, but yeah, that's another story anyway.
Otara is Western Samoa capital of Apia. It's been Tongan is quite mixed. Do you get along with?
Growing up in Otara, in my earlier teen years, it was pretty good. I got to mix with a lot of Samoans, a lot of Cook Islanders, a lot of Māoris, a lot of other cultures also. I know previously, in the few generations before me, there was a bit of a clash between Tongans and Samoans, but not when I was growing up. Got a lot of good lifetime friends now that are Samoan, that are other cultures too. So yeah, growing up in Otara in my time, man, it was real fun to get along with so many cultures. And it is the Pacific capital of New Zealand and South Pacific, so there was no sort of animosity among the cultures. It was really a good vibe going out there in South Auckland at that time when I was growing up, and till this day.
Do you think you could tell us a little bit about what cultures there are actually? Because I thought there was Māori, there was the Pacific Islands. Can you tell us exactly what mix you have going on for you?
My culture myself or my friends?
No, you.
My mother's Tongan and my father is English. And I know I identify a lot with my Tongan side because I was really close to my mum. She had a lot of influence in my life.
And she's passed on, hasn't she? That was a hard time for you.
Yeah, it was a difficult time for me, but I guess I turned it around and used it as a positive, and it motivated me even more to succeed in my sport, to succeed in winning a lot of championships. I owe a lot to her, and every time I'm in that circle throwing that shot put, I throw because of her. I throw towards the sky because it reminds me of her and it's dedicated to her, everything that I do. So I know when my mum passed, I was still young. And when she passed, I kind of felt left alone. Growing up as a young female in South Auckland, I kind of felt exposed to the world. But even though she passed, she left me strength and courage to get through, and left me a lot of support amongst my own family where I was. Yeah.
So being one of the youngest, would you say that the older whānau have contributed, helped financially? Did you have any financial help?
No, when growing up, there wasn't much financial help coming through our family because it was so big. You know, a lot of our family had to struggle. But in saying that, in the same vein, I look back on those times where money was short and made me appreciate money when it did come my way. Even to this day, I appreciate the money I do get and always spend it wisely, but also if I can, I'm able to share it out to my family in need anyway. So, like, even though it was hard, it gave me good values to respect money.
So were you sponsored in any of the...
I recently sponsored by Māori Television. Favourite sponsors, Māori Television.
Code.
Code, especially
That's the
Code.
one.
Yeah, Code. So they sponsor my lunch. They sponsor my lunch. And Powerade, Essex, Sports New Zealand. So a lot of sponsors. So I'm glad to have them and grateful to have them sponsor me now.
Does that take in travel as well?
Yes, takes in travel.
Okay.
All my international travels sponsored, and I guess that's what makes my living and doing what I do easier, because I have these sponsors on board, and because in shot putting and athletics there's not that much money out of the sport other than the Diamond League and the IAAF, which they pay for the top, the winner of the competition.
Right.
Other than that, athletics doesn't really pay that much, so it's really good to have sponsors on board to make it easier for me.
Kia ora whanau, if you're watching this, just, you know, welcome to the program. And remember, we're here with the one and only Valerie Adams. She's put New Zealand beyond, you know, the world in terms of sports. So if you have any questions, text through to 643 and we'll ask the questions to the sister here for you. So just back to you, Valerie. I know that in the last Olympics, in particular, there was a lot of talk of what happened with you and one of your competitor in terms of the drug stuff and coming second. We saw on TV how devastated you were when you didn't win the gold medal. How's everything now? How's things are for you now after reclaiming it?
Yeah, it was a pretty emotional roller coaster when it happened at the Olympics. First and foremost, when I did lose to obstacles. Belarusian. Yeah. When I lost to her, it was quite devastating because I had beaten her at the previous meet in Europe. So I wasn't expecting to lose from her at a margin where she hadn't thrown before. So I was kind of disappointed in myself because of that, and because I could have done better. I didn't throw my best at the Olympics anyway. But after I found out she was tested positive, I guess that's her decision. She made her choice. I'm just glad that when I did get the gold medal, it was through my own efforts and through my own work that I got there. So I can't. Whatever she did, she did.
What hold you grounded? What things that hold you grounded? Like, you know, drugs. Did you ever think of using it? But what things that hold you grounded? You know, not going into the arena of, you know, losing your cool, but you keep it to yourself. And like you said, you always think positive about people, and what she done, it's hers, it's not yours.
I guess, like I said, first time, it keeps me grounded in my family, my loved ones, and my Pacific upbringing. You know, always thinking the best about people. I'm never going out purposely to insult anyone, whether they're right or wrong. I think that's where my grounding comes from. My mum, my family, and my Pacific upbringing that's always instilled in me not to think the worst of anyone. And with drugs, I know it goes on a lot in our athletics and stuff, but I never ever thought of touching it. I know it's difficult when you hear so many up and coming and top line sports stars using it, but I think if I didn't have my family there to keep me grounded, maybe I would have taken.
So now with the athletics, you know, is your season kind of cooling down for now, or where are you at now for in terms of?
At the moment, after the recent my win at the World Champs in Moscow, I've got a few weeks off, spending back in New Zealand before I head back to Switzerland to train at my coach's home.
Yeah.
I'm lucky enough to have a coach who's welcomed me into his home, and I stayed at his house with his wife most of the season in Europe. So I'm able to base myself in Europe and compete in the competitions over there. So for the time being, I'm back, have a few weeks break before I head back.
So coming back to you, Valerie, where to from here for you?
I'm 30 next year. I'm hoping to be at the top of my game for as long as possibly can. But in saying that, I really know that after I got to set myself up for something after shot put.
Yeah.
So I'm really looking forward to seeing if I can get into some form of coaching.
Oh, nice.
Coaching our youth and hopefully give back to our communities and our young people, just as I got given the chance when I was young.
Yeah.
And hopefully I can get involved in some coaching later on.
Looking for a protege of your own.
Yeah, definitely. And being from South Auckland and knowing a lot of the young people out there, a lot of everyone's involved in rugby league, basketball. So I'm getting more of our young people involved in athletics, whatever form. Is a goal of mine out in South Auckland, because there's a lot of talent there, and I'm just
just so that nobody will think we're just all mean here. I just wanted to know who your first kiss was with.
Oh, my first kiss. It hasn't happened yet.
Look at that, real role model, eh? So do you feel the pressure on being on top of the world and trying to maintain?
Yeah, there's with.
And how do you cope with it? Yeah.
Yeah, it's quite difficult. Being at the top and staying there. I guess getting to the top was the easiest part, and just maintaining myself at the top has been the hardest. Because there's always a young person nipping at your heels, ready to take your spot, which is healthy, because most of the time I need healthy.
In the competition.
To keep me competitive is to have that sort of young person nipping at my heels. But how I keep my composure, I know that I'm there for a reason. I'm blessed to be there at the top, and I know my family are proud of me being at the top, and I wouldn't remain at the top if it wasn't for my family.
Oh, nice. So I guess just before we wrap up, I'll give you the final say in terms of what advice would you give to our young people, to all our tamariki watching the program tonight, and everyone else too that's trying to get to a different place from where they are at the moment.
Hi, Mum.
Hi, Mum. Hi, Warangi's mum. To all the young people out there, just right attitude, hard work, commitment, believe in yourself. When I was younger, I was the bigger girl in the class. Used to get mocked a few times and get smart at, but just have belief in yourself that you have the potential to be anything you want, wherever you want to be, and yeah.
Choice. Well, once again, the one and only Lady Ellen, thank you for your time. Thank you for making this time to come in and sit right next to little Jenny and Wairangi. And that's our show for tonight. So we're gonna leave you guys with Mean Māori Mean. Yay!